Have you ever pushed a button on the button machine that has the buttons on it to start the podcast?
No, I never have. I'm not really even sure which button it would be.
Oh, it's this button right here. It's sort of silver with red in the middle. And it's a fun one.
It says alert, alert, entertainment, commence.
Are you sure you want to record? Are you really sure you want to record?
Welcome back, everybody, to the We Can't Pick a Title podcast. BG here.
This is JT over here yonder. I always want to do the welcome, 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 like Dax.
Yeah.
It's hard not to do that. It's hard not to rip off other people's stuff because it's good.
You can still welcome people if you want.
Okay, welcome, folks. Thanks for tuning in, checking it out.
Welcome 3 times, baby.
Oh, that's a good song.
And I'm eating the candies. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, trying to get up our blood sugar, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
I think so.
Is that what the vampires call it these days?
What
if you have like a diabetic vampire, and then it's like a whole blood sugar thing. You get somebody with a high blood sugar, would it kill the vampire? Because it's like, oh, shit.
Maybe if it was like a diabetic vampire?
Yeah.
There's your band name.
That's awesome. Diabetic Vampire Podcast.
It's like, how many carbs did you have? Okay, I'm going to eat you. Just going after all the Atkins people.
Yeah, the keto vampire.
Keto people.
Yeah. I can see that.
It could happen.
Keto vampire. That's awesome. I kind of want to see that. I'm not sure how it would work. I guess they would just fast, right?
You can make it happen.
Yeah.
Make that magic come together?
Yeah. I attack and suck some blood in the morning, and then go do a workout, and then refrain from any blood sucking until the next morning again.
Well...
that's the whole keto thing, right?
I think you just have to eat people that were keto.
Sugar-free?
Yeah. I think
sugar-free humans?
Okay. I think that'd be the thing.
Right, I guess.
What if you're, gluten intolerant and you were a vampire? I wonder if that kind of thing would, transfer over, if they would have trouble.
Well, yeah.
Once it gets in. I think I could definitely see the sugars because of the blood.
You definitely have to, start picking your targets a little bit more discerningly, I think.
We'll have to ask our nurse friends.
It wouldn't be like the
nurse
old...
Friends?
Nurse
Doctor
friends? Doctor, we need another absurd medical question answered, please. Absurd science!
Help!
That's pretty good. Absurd science podcast. Yeah, all kinds of ideas coming up here.
So many ideas, you guys.
Haven't even smoked a bowl
Hurts.
yet.
I'm just getting jacked up on these Quality Street chocolates here.
Yeah, I got gifted some Nestle Quality Street stuff. I'm not sure.
Our buddy Siri gave us a giant tin of them.
Shouldn't have dropped the Nestle name, I guess.
725 grams, so it's a hefty amount.
I thought you were going to say pieces of candy. Fuck, there's no way there's that many in there.
Well, probably that many calories and just
I thought
one color.
I would have thought one. Yeah, exactly.
So they changed up the packaging and the shapes, and then there's no menu.
It's so weird. There's no instructions or
no instructions. Well, I think you just open them and stuff them in your mouth, but normally there's a cheat sheet on the inside, so you don't have to take a bite out of each one and just be and then leave them to the side. Oh, there is. It's way in the bottom.
I dug deep.
It's a small piece. That's why they're saving a tree.
There you go. Oh, right.
Jason just looked it up online.
That's all you need. You can always hit the old Google machine. I dropped a candy, though. Hold on, everybody.
Oh, shit.
Going down.
It's not like when we had the dog where you were full scramble if you drop something to make sure the dog doesn't eat the chocolate.
Not such a huge issue now.
Yeah, the cat's what did you put? Oh, that's not even food.
Oh, now I see the candy types.
Uh-oh.
Fudge. All right.
You're a fudge.
Fudge. I think there's some on here that aren't actually in the thing. So maybe somebody opened it ahead of time and...
No, it had a seal.
Uh-huh. There's a seal in there, too?
Kiss from a Rose? I didn't see any triangular hazelnut ones.
No, exactly. And I don't think there's a fudge one. I got ripped off.
I see one!
Oh, it's got to dig.
You guys are tuning in to hear which chocolates we got.
Here's the breaking news. Quality Street Productions.
I know. I don't, I don't usually get this kind because there's a strawberry one and stuff, and I'm usually not all about that, but I do like the coconut one. It's bringing back some fond memories of childhood.
What's the eclair part of the coconut eclair? What's eclair?
I don't know.
Just clear? Doesn't eclair mean just clear?
Clear!
Yeah, coconut clear candy.
Oh.
The cat wants out,
Okay.
so we should probably open the door.
Okay.
But before we do that, should we...
Before we do that, do you want to tell us about the weed you got in your pipe this week? Jason, what you got in your motherfucking pipe? Tell us all about it so we can get through the night. Jason, don't you know you want to tell us about the drugs?
That was fucking awesome.
What? What are you talking about? Took me all week to write that.
Yeah. It wasn't just
Would you
spontaneous
believe?
right off the bat there.
No,
You know.
those pauses
Today-
weren't for thinking at all.
Today's bowl is brought to you by MK Ultra.
Ultra.
It's not just an acid experiment anymore.
See, if you wait long enough, the cat just goes out the cat door.
Oh, that's perfect then.
He's going real slow, though.
Not sure I want to smoke weed out the cat door though, but maybe.
I don't think your face would fit out the cat door. You could probably
Just my
go out
lips.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, blow it through that. So it says here that
What's all it about?
MK Ultra, also known as MKU and MK Ultra OG,
The
original ganja.
All right. I think that's what it stands for.
Says it's a highly potent indica marijuana strain
Oh,
made by
shit.
crossing OG Kush with G13.
As
the
long as
strain-
it's not PG-13.
Oh no, it's definitely
G.
triple R. Is that a thing? I think that's insulation rating.
Oh, okay.
Actually, never mind. Scratch
Well,
that.
that's applicable to both of us anyway.
Extra insulation on us.
Exactly.
I'm rated triple R.
Yep.
No big deal.
No big deal. My tummy stays pretty warm in the winter.
That's okay.
Unless it gets wet and it's really windy and then it gets cold.
Well insulated.
Yeah, or my shirt rides up or something.
I'm self-heating
I
too,
don't get
so that
about
helps.
tucking it in, so that helps.
Yeah.
Who cares what people think?
Tuck schmuck. You know,
Like, I just want to make sure my tummy's not cold. I don't care what I look like.
tuck my bottom lip in, maybe. You know.
Oh.
I was doing like a Forrest Gump, Bubba Gump kind of.
What?
You tuck that bottom lip in before it gets shot off, or something like that. The
Oh.
drill sergeant yells at Bubba.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Because his lip is sticking way out like this, and he likes shrimp boo, shrimp soup, shrimp salad.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Remember
his
that guy?
buddy that they get a boat.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
That was a show, you guys. I don't know
Remember
if
that?
anybody saw
Remember
it.
that was a show that
I think
where he ran.
They ran it.
I think he ran to do things.
And he had a special lady friend that was just a friend.
That was awesome friend. Just fucking use them, and then deny.
say what happens.
I'm gonna go and bang a bunch of other random dudes, and then
it's just the
once I get
60s.
AIDS, I'm gonna come back and see you,
Just be like, hey,
and
what's
you can
up?
take care of me while I die. Thanks, Forrest.
Well, you never know what your life's charted for.
But he did love her, I'll give him that. I
there's
mean,
some
you're not going to deny
friendships.
that. If you showed up on my doorstep with AIDS, then I would still...
Even if I was banging all the other dudes.
Well, hopefully not right then and there. But
Not with
afterwards,
AIDS.
yeah.
You'd be like, put a fucking rubber on, Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
You can get lady rubbers now. I
Ooh, lady rubbers.
think that's what they call them.
I think so.
That's how they market them.
I
your
remember
MK
that...
Ultra? Lady rubbers?
I was going to jump onto the
Seaweed lube that we heard about on the weekend.
Crazy, right? So apparently that's a thing? Seaweed lube? Lubricant?
Yeah, you get it from the Blatterack seaweed. It's the kind with the little, bloop,
So
orange hands kind of looking ones.
And the one it was made from Irish moss.
What?
Yeah. Which,
Well, that's not seaweed then.
well, it is, because that's just what they call it.
Why would
Yeah.
you call it that?
Irish moss is a tufted seaweed with thin branching fan-like fronds from 5 to 25 centimeters.
Oh.
The algae is cartilaginous, varying in color from a greenish yellow to a dark purple.
That's going to look awesome on your junk.
So you just rub that on,
On
your
junk.
balls and your dick a
You're
little
going to
bit.
want to take a good look before you put the lube on, just to make sure everything looks all like it should.
Make sure there's no crabs from your fresh Irish moss. You
Yeah.
know. Well, crabs
Unless
on either
you want
end.
some,
You
either.
know, unless maybe some will jump off of you and onto the moss.
Maybe.
Maybe we just cured crabs.
Maybe.
I think we had cured crabs.
Might
Anyway, it's made from the carrageenan the seaweed extract, carrageenan.
I knew
And it's
it.
like super slippery, I guess. Like
I
super
knew
duper
it.
slippery.
Well, that's why you fucking biffer if you get walking across that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's slippery. You know? Slippery lubes.
It's so slipped. Yeah, so we were at a birthday party on the weekend, and a friend came over, and they were telling us about the most expensive lube that you could get. It was $150 for a bottle of lube.
So I think that there might have been a weird typo or something on the price tag, because I looked up, I tried to find the most expensive lube.
Maybe the container was bigger than we thought.
It had to have been like a gallon's worth.
Yeah.
Because the prices that I was looking up.
Maybe they got like a industrial party
maybe
size.
So the only other one that I could find was is your orgy sized tub of lube.
Does this come in orgy size?
It just has one of those like giant squirt top.
Yeah. In the horse industry, people sometimes use KY jelly to clean the horses' wieners off because in the wild, horses don't get gelded, so they're out banging other lady horses, and lady reproductive organs are meant to like clean and flush out, and they do their own thing, and the guys, they just basically like...
So does that like scrub and clean the dick at the same time?
Well, it's in-out motion and it's all wet, sort of a...
Okay, yeah.
I guess a face cloth type situation for their dongs or whatever. Not great for the lady horses, but I guess it's happening regularly enough that... And they're not trapped in a stall or in a paddock where it's all dirty. They're like going out into the water and swimming around and doing horse stuff, right?
Rolling around and rubbing it off on grass and just in the mud.
I don't think they... I want to see the practicality of that. The horse is just like got his wang out and is like crawling across the grasses.
If you had a wang, you'd be doing it too. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
I just brush my wang on the grass all the time, and the neighbors are like, "Oh shit, he's doing it again." Jason!
So you have a favorite type of grass? Or?
I like a Kentucky bluegrass.
Okay,
it's nice and soft, but gives a little bit of a tickle still.
Freshly mowed? Or?
Well, you want a little...
sharp edges?
Yeah, no, you want a little something on there, like a good week's worth of growth. Not too long, because then it gets all up and...
It's prickly. It's
tickles,
like shaving.
Tickles your butthole. You don't want that, because then that starts a whole other thing.
Well, then you're never going to leave the lawn.
What are you doing with that tent out on the lawn?
Get your taint off the lawn again, Jason.
Get your taint off the lawn. Lawn maintenance. Yeah?
There you go.
Instead of maintenance.
There's your shirt.
I like it.
Okay, so you're telling us about...
So the seaweed lube.
Seaweed lube.
The one that she was looking at, it could have been this other one that this lady developed, and I honestly couldn't find any prices for it or anything. It's like super duper special, and it's made purely... Because all the other seaweed ones are like... Also have water and a little bit of glycerin and some other shit in it. But this one's like just pure seaweed goop.
Okay.
And like it's not cleaned or pasteurized even. It looked pretty like hardy, we'll say. It was
little,
like a good
little bits of...
Yeah, even a little bit. I was like, not sure I want to be rubbing my junk all over that, but
or cramming that up in somebody else.
Seems slippery, so...
Maybe it's just for outer slipperiness.
Well, that's
just for like boobs and stuff.
The other thing I found out was that there's lube, and it makes sense for putting a wetsuit on. So that's a seaweed lube. Is that they have like all kinds of natural lubes and stuff, and you put it on your body, and then you put your wetsuit on because it's way easier to put your wetsuit on. So
did that seaweed stuff get developed for wetsuits, and then somebody found out that it works good for sex?
Nope,
or?
sex. There's different types.
They were all made for sex, and then somebody was like, showed up to put their wetsuit on, but was still slippery?
No, it was weirdly enough that I think they actually had
the party?
2 different branches.
Okay.
Because the one is external, and the other one's sort of more...
Has to be safe for...
Can be safe for internal.
In your hand gesture there.
Yeah, exactly. For the old... the old...
You're talking about...
the old...
It's a Letterkenny reference when they're getting their proctology. Or
prostate exam. Yeah, getting their prostate checked.
Yeah.
Folks out there, you get your prostate checked.
Might as well.
Just for the fun of it, if anything.
See if
I want the footage. I just want to when I go and get mine done sometime. No.
And they don't put a little camera on the end of their finger.
No, but don't they run a whole thing up your butt?
No, that's a colonoscopy.
Oh, right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
scope.
That's what I was thinking. I want the camera footage from that, and then like put like dramatic music to it. You know,
Not like
or like
Barry White or anything.
oh, I like that. Let's get it on.
Just cruising by a little chunk of corn that you missed.
I remember you.
It's like, I should have chewed you better.
Should have drank more water, I guess.
Guess I should be drinking more water. Should be drinking more water right now.
Anyway, should we crack open the doorski and have a little bolski? And some of this here MK Ultra. I don't know if we were... Oh, that was on the Conspiracy Theory show, radio show that I was on there with our buddy Dougie Fresh. I talked about MK Ultra and the acid experiment that they fed soldiers acid and didn't tell them and everything, and then watched them.
Like battery?
No, sorry. To the other
Like
folks
the
out there.
drugs.
Drug, acid, LSD, lysergic.
Easy for you to say.
Jesus. Man, I used to be able to say that, no problem.
Well,
Lysergic, Saba, diamethylethadone or something. Shit.
huh.
Anyway. Yeah,
You
the
could
good
like
stuff.
just pause it right now and then just like look it up real quick.
Pause. Lysergic. Let's try that again.
Why did you chew after your burp?
Well, it wasn't a chew. It was sort of like a...
Just remembering
like a bit of a
the
taste
flavors
kind of
that
thing.
you already had
Yeah,
before.
you know, Coca-Cola and milk chocolate. It's
Oh,
good
I
stuff.
guess, yeah. Savor that twice.
Nothing wrong with that, you know.
Okay, so how do you
LSD
say, what does LSD stand for,
LSD
Jason?
stands for lysergic acid diethylamine.
Take two.
LSD stands for lysergic acid diethylamide. That word.
Take three.
Lysergic acid diethylamide.
Diethylamine?
Diethylamide. There we go. Diethylamide.
Here, okay, and action.
LSD stands for lysergic acid doodle-doo-doo-doo.
I like that your voice is getting all, like, different every single time.
Gets all official sometimes. This is my official radio voice, everybody.
Why aren't you using that day
When I'm on
voice?
the PBS radio or NPR radio. That's where I looked up the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing was on the NPR radio website.
Oh.
But we can get back to that after this Bolski.
Okay,
Because I'm cooking hot. MK Ultra. Is that like Michelob Ultra? I think that's a thing. Nice. There's a sour candy in there? She's making a sweet old sour face there. How's that going?
like when they pull the IV out of the girl's arm on airplane.
Nice, yeah. That's great.
Eyes go all crossed. Goes all fish-lipped. No, it's the milk chocolate. I'm just not used to eating milk chocolate anymore.
Just straight up milk chocolate.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I watched a video the other day of the guy that tried like one of the world's sourest candies, and it looked like it
Hurt.
did some damage. You know?
Probably did.
Yeah.
I'm glad sour candies don't hurt on the way out the way spicy things hurt on the way in.
Oh my
And the way
god.
Could you imagine if your butt could, like, taste sour?
Yeah, I guess how would that work, right? You know, well,
Your butt, it's just spicy because of the capsicum in there. It's
Right.
like actual...
and the sour is from the sugar. It's just like extra sweet sugar or something. Is that where they get the sour from?
Nope,
Oh,
it's something else. Because you can't just eat lots of sugar and have it be sour.
right. I always wondered about that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, unless you're keeping it in your shoes or something. In your old milk.
well, then what makes sour candy sour? Citric acid.
There you go.
That's the ticket. Citric acid, it says, is one of the most common ingredients in sour candy, providing the perfect pop of tartness. Malic acid takes things to the next level, being the acid responsible for extreme sour flavor. Fumaric acid changes the game by allowing the strong sour taste to be long-lasting due to its low dissolvability.
Oh, brutal.
It's all science, you know? It's all science. Speaking of science, I learned a thing about airports the other day, just a quick little tangent road thing.
Oh, yeah?
That airports, they have their runways pointing in both directions. A lot of times it's like they're like 30 degrees from each other.
Oh, yeah?
So that when an airplane takes off, it can always be headed into the wind because it takes way less power and way less fuel to go into the wind, into a headwind. So then when the wind changes, they'll just shift direction and all of a sudden the airplanes are going off this side of the runway instead of the other side of the runway.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, kind of neat, hey? I thought it was kind of cool.
I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
I just sort of thought they all came in and out however they wanted to, and they just choreographed it.
Well, that's sort of, I thought, whatever's direction they're coming from kind of deal for the most part. And then you line up with the runway and you go. But it makes sense that headwind versus tailwind, you know? Yeah. It was kind of neat. Neat to learn some science, you know? And now we learn the science of sour candy.
So scientific and stuff. I was never one to get the sour candies. I didn't mind the sour keys, but usually because they were like a thicker jelly candy, so like they lasted a long time. I'd kind of like rub some of the scratchy part of the outside off before eating them.
Oh, yeah.
Just because if you ate a bunch of them, you'd be in trouble because your tongue would burn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you like actually rub off? You don't lick them off ahead of time? I'd like give them like a like a lick off, you know, first.
That must have been fun for all your friends to watch.
Oh, they loved it. Yeah,
they
big
were
time.
like, "There's
totally
Thompson key licker."
Yeah, they're off in the corner just jerking it.
Oh, were they?
Oh, they loved it. Yeah, ask them next time you see them.
Okay, do you have any names of these friends? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think they'd appreciate the name drop at this instance.
Okay,
maybe you know,
privately you could.
Yeah,
let me
if
know
anybody wants to know,
them.
they can private message me.
Okay.
No, don't. Please don't do that.
If you used to jerk off to Jason eating sour candies, if you just want to private message me and let me know.
Dial 1-800.
I'm curious. Just, how'd that go for you?
Dial 1-800 traumatized.
Yeah. He does have all those extra kissing juices, so it probably sounded pretty slobbery.
Anybody else have extra kissing juices out there? Extra slobber in their mouth at any given time? I do. Let's just say that I was pretty much born with it, I think. I should ask my dad if I was a drooler when I was a baby. I think we all are, a little bit.
Depends how bad your teeth hurt.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Speaking of teeth, we go back into town tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Big old town trip, Baroni.
For more chomper cleaning.
Mm-hmm. That'll be fun. Get the other side done this time.
Yeah.
Feels so good after. You know, you don't realize how much crap is built up in your teeth.
I have so much room in my mouth now.
So much more room for chips and milk chocolate, quality street chocolates.
Little seeds and...
Yep, little blackberry seeds.
To get in there?
Yeah. I'll have to find out what size, because she said no chia seeds. You know, but I was like, oh, blackberry seeds are definitely bigger than chia seeds.
Are they?
But, you know, that's, I think, she'll just like, okay, no more of the blackberry jam.
Just not eat those anyway, or?
Chia seeds is one of the things that she said.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they're so small.
Yeah.
And
it gets into your, like, gum between your teeth?
And I think it was more just like, don't do it right after the cleaning.
Oh,
or like for a couple days kind of deal.
Your gums are sort of loose from them scraping everything?
They're just, little...
What was that sound there?
That was a little bit of everything involved in that. While waving my arms, around, flailing a little bit. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Going to the dentist tomorrow and getting all that done, I think. And see how it all goes. And then we'll get the big extractions in a couple weeks after that, I guess.
I guess so.
Yay! Dentist. Speaking of dentist, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing, because there's a dentist on that show.
Yeah.
That was a good little segue.
The elf wanted to be a dentist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because we were talking about it, I think, last week, and about the origin of it or whatever. So yeah, it was made by a guy that he was working for Montgomery Ward. They were like a big retailer, department store. They were like the Sears of the day, even though they were Sears, I think, too, actually, back
Sears
then.
and Roebuck?
Yeah. So this is Montgomery Ward, same sort of deal. And that Polsky took my breath away, that one, a little bit.
Oh.
I'm okay, though. I'll survive.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. You okay? How you doing? How's your lungs?
My lungs are fine.
Okay. Sweet. So the Montgomery Ward people, they they would buy and give away coloring books for Christmas every year. And one year they decided to try to save money, and they would make their own book.
Oh.
So they hired, or didn't hire, but they basically told the guy that was already working for them. He wrote ads and copywriting and stuff for them. Mm-hmm. And so they got him to write it. And it was a huge hit, I guess. It took off everywhere. They distributed 2.4 million copies, it says, of Rudolph's story. And the guy that wrote it, he...
the author?
The author, yeah. He was Robert L. May. I guess I should say the name. Mm-hmm. He was a bit of a nerd. This is in his own words, he was a bit of a nerd and a bit of a loser in school. And he had skipped a couple grades. And so he was smaller than the rest of the kids and stuff, too.
And the other kids couldn't relate to him because he was smarter than them?
He was smarter and smaller than
and then
them,
just
so they picked on
younger,
him.
so probably a little less mature.
And they picked on him and then didn't let him play in their games.
Brutal.
Yeah. So then it all basically went from there. And the original name, one of them was Rollo or Reginald. And then he decided on Rudolph, and his daughter really liked it, I guess, liked Rudolph and everything, so they went with that. And the first time they weren't sure about the red nose thing, because it was, red nose was associated with, like, drunkards and alcoholics and stuff. Yeah. So they didn't want to do it that way. But then eventually he was red-nosed against it, mm-hmm. and just said, like, no, that's the way it's going to be. And at first the boss, so he wrote, the boss at Montgomery Ward came to him and said, write this book for us, and so he wrote it, and he loved it, and everybody else really liked it. He took it back to the boss, and the boss didn't like it, and basically said, rewrite it. And then he was just adamant against it, and like, no, this is good. Everybody else I show it to really likes it, so I think this is the one that we should go with. And then, it ended up getting huge. And then it was like 10 years later that they ended up selling the book, or the rights, or giving him the rights to it, because Montgomery Ward owned it, technically.
Oh, and
so
they
he
were
didn't
selling the book all over the place?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they gave it away the first year, and then they were selling it? Or?
Well, I don't know about selling it, but that was the thing, was that his daughter, the Robert L. May's daughter, she figures that they didn't know what they actually had.
Yeah.
And so it was like, went around and publicized for 10 years or whatever, and then they got a hold of it and decided to write with a buddy of his, write a song out of it. And that's where Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the song, came from that.
Oh, okay.
And then Gene Autry, he's like a famous cowboy actor guy from back in the day, he sang it, like one of the first people to sort of publicly sing it. And then it was just huge after that. It took right off and was just gigantic after that, and made him and all his family and everything a bunch of money off it, and they lived happily ever after.
Tune.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat, just how it all started, and yeah.
And his wife had cancer.
Well, I read that
really
real quick somewhere, but then it didn't say anything else about.
Not that
about
matters,
it a couple different times or whatever. And
on the thing I'd read, it said something about that.
Well, in the one that I read, it did say it, but it didn't really seem to have too much significance other than it said something about it helped too, because he ended up getting the rights for it, and then they sold the song and everything, and then that helped to pay the medical bills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then the family still, they have, it's like, can't remember, Rudolph Holdings Limited or something it's called now, and they do anything Rudolph related has to go through them, and they make money off of that now and stuff. And yeah,
that's nice that the family got credit at some point.
Yeah,
and that the author was actually accredited for his work rather than just it being the company.
And I guess from a kid-ish, he always wanted to like write the great American novel and be one of the great authors and that kind of deal. And then he was always sort of down on himself because he was just an ad writer for this store for Montgomery Ward, and then ends up writing something that's huge and still yeah, exactly, right, yeah. It's
a beloved story and song.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat.
Thanks for finding out the actual info on
that. It's what we do around here.
Want to make sure, what's the guy's name?
Robert L. May.
Make sure Robert gets his
comeuppance. Or no, that's a bad thing, I think, right? His credit?
His credit.
Gets his...
due?
His due?
His due and proper?
His due and proper? So another thing, this has nothing to do with reindeer or anything else, but it has to do with weed and fish, if that counts. We were talking about...
We are a fish podcast.
We were talking about the type of weed we were smoking before, the black tuna.
Oh, yeah.
Was that, I think it was last week or the week before, having the black tuna. Mm-hmm. And I just looked it up like on the spot when we were talking about it, and it said something about Black Tuna Gang. So I was like, ooh, Black Tuna Gang? That sounds not dangerous, but dangerous at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, it doesn't sound very scary, but still, anybody calling themselves that's got to be
just reminds me
something.
Of Pete Davidson's Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang.
Tuna Gang, Tuna Gang, Tuna Gang, Tuna Gang.
From
Nice.
SNL when he does that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Gucci Gang or whatever he does there. And so.
I can't remember what, because Gucci Gang's the actual song.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember what his version is now.
Yeah.
Tucci, from Stanley Tucci.
Right,
yeah, Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang. Yeah. That's that guy from the Hunger Games. Yeah, and so the Black Tuna Gang, it was a name, they didn't pick it themselves. It was a name given to them
Because they put it in tuna cans?
Yeah, so that was their thing, was they put it in tuna cans, sealed it up, and then they would ship it. And by it, I mean weed, marijuana.
But the elephant in the room, why was it the black tuna? Because that's not a real fish, is it?
Well, so they used to, the members of the gang would, they had a solid gold medallion with a black tuna emblem.
Oh.
And they would wear it around, and that's how they identified themselves. Like, oh, you're one of those guys. You know?
So it's a tuna, so you have to know what a tuna looks like compared to all the other fish out there.
Yeah.
And you also have to...
Yeah, the black one.
Watch for the black tuna.
Yeah, and hope that the guy has his medallion out when you're...
Okay.
You know.
Well, I have to say I'm just like a little relieved it's not a race thing.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Right, I just wasn't sure that was sort of the elephant in the room. I was like, do I ask why it's called the black?
Yeah. I just assumed that there was
Painted the
a
cans
species.
black?
No, I thought there was a black tuna, like bluefin tuna. There's yellowfin tuna. I assume there's a black tuna out there
black
somewhere.
Tip sharks or whatever.
And maybe there actually is. I didn't go that deep down the rabbit
we'll
hole.
find out for next time.
Oh no, you know, it just keeps
Or you
extending
guys
my homework.
Or you guys could Google it yourselves.
Yeah,
I guess, and find out.
but that's
first.
no fun.
You find out first, but then you probably won't even tell us. So then we'll.
You
look
better.
it up anyway.
Yeah, comment and let us know if.
What?
Is there a black tuna? Is it delicious?
Is it?
Or maybe not.
Maybe it's one of those Sunamono salad situations or ceviche.
Ooh, there you
Just
go.
making some tuna ceviche.
Maybe it's endangered and it's even more delicious.
I hear they have the extra delicious juices, all the endangered things.
Yes, you get that endangered tang.
It's the rarity
in
tang.
there. Yeah, you get that. It's forbidden. You know, that sort of deal going, right?
Exactly.
So the Black Tuna Gang, they imported around 500 tons of marijuana within 16 months into the U.S.
Year and a half?
Yeah, basically a year
How
and a
many
half.
plants does it take to get a pound?
Well, it depends on how
if you
good
had
your plant
like a
is.
really pimpin' plant,
Super
probably
pimpin'
like
plant would give you about a pound,
okay,
give or take.
so that's like
and 2,000 pounds in a ton. And so times
How many-
500, right? 2,000 times 500, that can't be that hard. It's got to be 100,000?
yeah.
No, I don't know. Oh shit, now we got
How
to do
many
math
zeros?
again. I can't do the zeros.
Has trouble with
Oh,
zeros.
okay, 1 million apparently. 2,000 times 500.
So that's 1 million
1
plants,
million plants.
if they grow
If you're
pound.
a pound a piece.
A plant.
Which is
that's
pretty
a lot
rare.
to manage. 4 is a
That's
lot
like
to
a
manage.
California king, size, right?
Yeah, maybe they just have those Gigantosaurus plants.
Well, my guess is they weren't necessarily the growers of it. They were probably bringing it in from
like somewhere that had to
Mexico
grow.
or Cuba or somewhere.
Like
yeah.
if you have 4 months per growing season, if it's inside,
Yeah.
and it is divided by 16 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like 4 cycles through.
I got cross-eyed there for a second.
Yeah, it'd be like 4 cycles through. So if you had the 1 million plants divided by 4, so then that's like 250,000 plants if you did 4 cycles of 250,000
Yeah.
plants.
So totally doable.
Seems manageable.
Yeah. It's just it's a giant field's worth. No big deal. Yeah.
Divided by 4, because everybody's only allowed to have 4 plants.
Oh.
could have that many people in on it.
Hey, that'd be great.
Just like, dude.
We're doing it as legally as we can.
Oh, man, that's a lot of people to organize.
So, speaking of legal, they ended up going to
they
jail.
probably got a license or something.
Now they're out of jail. The two guys, the one guy for sure.
Yeah.
And
Mr.
now
Tuna?
they've gone straight and they do like legal. It's Black Tuna Products, I think, is the weed.
Oh.
They have actual,
They went legit?
Yeah, went legit. That's the word I was looking for.
Cool.
And they sell all kinds of good weed by the looks of it, and all kinds of other products. And there's a movie, a documentary we've got to look up that's Square Grouper, The Godfathers of Ganja.
Square Grouper.
Square Grouper.
That's awesome they were able to come out and get it, but it sort of sucks that they had to go to jail before, but I guess it's just part of the process because it was illegal then at that time. And
I have a pretty controversial view on that kind of stuff of like, I don't know, fucking just let them do it.
Well, I think like the people that are in there for it now, like, shouldn't they be allowed out because it's legal, but then they were breaking the law when it was illegal and they didn't just wait.
Exactly.
But maybe the law was changed because there were so many people that were doing it anyway because they needed it for whatever.
The dumb thing is because they make so much money in the prisons.
Right.
So the actual prison people and the government making that money aren't exactly opting to do that. So it's taking like other prisoners and prison groups and freedom groups saying, okay, enough. Like it's literally legal. I can go to the store and buy it.
Yeah.
And my uncle, who was, maybe selling it, maybe just had it on him.
What was the guy
and
who
doing
went,
10 years,
went
kind
to
of deal.
jail for a joint? And then was it Bob Dylan or somebody wrote a song about it?
Oh, the hurricane. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that was a whole thing.
No, there was like some other dude.
Oh, really?
That went in and.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember.
I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Bob Dylan, joint song.
I think it was Bob Dylan. It could have been somebody else.
Oh, okay.
But it was, basically about the guy going away.
Okay. Yeah.
I could be way off because I was way off with the reindeer story too. So I do smoke a lot of weed. Well, I'm learning things.
Legal weed though.
I smoke the legal weed, not that illegal weed.
No. Oh, and I remember when we went to Vegas. Maybe I don't know have I told the story on the podcast?
I think you did.
Did I?
That you couldn't get any down there
Couldn't
because
find
the
any.
guy was saying it was.
Yeah.
He'd go away for as little, like $5 worth of weed compared to.
Yep. Compared to like an ounce of Coke or something. Coke. It was like, it was like I can sell this gram of Coke or I can sell this gram of weed, and I can make $20 over here. Or I can make 400 here.
And it's prison system,
and I can get the 25 years.
The same.
Yeah, prison. Wow. Because it's all a class 1A substance or whatever. And,
Yikes.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah.
Well, I hope eventually it's recognized that it does have medicinal qualities and as well as recreation, and people can just learn to use stuff responsibly. Then hopefully things will change.
Yeah, and that's the problem
can get it.
is the business side of it and the whole underground side of it and the cartel cutting people's heads off because of it, because it gets to be a $1 billion industry.
Yeah, you don't want grandmas going to prison because they need their arthritis soothed.
It's exactly. Yeah, like I'm okay with the odd cartel guy going to jail because they're shipping billions of dollars worth of weed and they're killing people over it. Sure, put them in jail. Yeah. But like some guy that just gets caught, with half a bag of weed on him or something to 20 years.
With one joint.
Yeah, like that's so brutal. Yeah, that's not cool. Went on a little tangent there. Tangent road.
Putting on your, what is this, like Rob McElhaney's got his Mr. Justice or whatever it is.
Rob Justice?
Rob Justice.
Yeah,
for sure. Jason Justice.
I don't know. It'd be like, Jason Justice. That's a good
Something.
one. Peter Political. Yeah, that sounds weird. Sounds gross.
Sounds like a dick. Like, literally and
on
figuratively.
Both sides, exactly. Yeah. He's a real Peter Political, if you know what I mean. And that politician that touches people, it's a diddler.
Oh.
Like, he's a real Peter Political, you know what I mean?
Not good.
Yeah.
I think that's just, like, quite a few out there, like, not to drop names or anything.
Yeah, quite a few.
Trump, or whoever.
Are you okay? Bless you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, speaking of people touching people, we watched that.
Okay. Go on. I don't know where you're going with this at all.
You don't know, speaking of people touching people, drugging their drinks?
Oh, yeah. The old Dr. Cosby.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we grew up with him being America's dad,
Yeah.
and he is the most wholesome fella out there, but then they showed that footage of him on late night, and he's like talking about Spanish Fly and how awesome it is and everything else, and joking around with the guy that they were trying to get it because
Larry
they
King.
found out that the girls would go, what?
And then she's yours. And then she's yours.
And then she's
and he snaps his
yours,
fingers.
yeah.
You know, and it's just...
It's
yeesh.
so creepy just to know that out of the 60 people that came forward, and, you know, they wound up pressing charges and getting everybody's statements and finding out that, yeah, he had done this stuff. And then he gets let back out on a technicality, not because he was innocent, but because they fucked up the system as they were, like, they didn't run something through properly, and he wound up getting acquitted or whatever. And now people are like, oh, well, he was proven innocent. It's like, no, he fucking wasn't. And there's hundreds of other people that haven't come forward.
So it was... do you mind me saying?
If you know it,
I know
it up.
So it was when one of the first ladies that actually tried to sue him. Shit, I can't remember her name now. We just watched that documentary about it. Yeah, the Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ronstadt, something like that. Anyway, I should look it up properly, but she filed a civil suit against him.
And because it wasn't a criminal suit.
Yeah,
it all
and
got looped
it was a
through.
whole thing, and then it was part of the, I don't know, affidavit's the wrong word, but basically part of the policy after it was all said and done, when it was cleared, was that he could never be prosecuted for it.
Yeah,
and in the wording, it was like prosecuted for this and any crime associated with it,
right,
blah, blah, blah.
And she had a gag order on her, too.
And
she was
she
never
did, too.
allowed to talk about
Exactly,
it until other people had come forward, and then she'd been asked to speak up.
Once it became a criminal charge. And then because enough people came out and it became big enough and popular enough of an opinion of like, oh shit, he's actually maybe doing this.
Yeah.
Then the odd lawyer would actually jump on and say, okay, well let's try this. And then
such a brave
through that, and then so what ended up happening
to stand against
was he went to jail, and then during the appeals process and everything, his lawyers basically said that in that civil suit, the way it was worded was that he can't be charged for this at all.
Right.
And it was sort of just a gray area, and everyone assumed that it meant he can't be charged for that by her at that time, by that DA.
Yeah.
Was the biggest part, by that DA. Mm-hmm. And Cosby's team ended up saying any DA.
Yeah.
Any DA that he can't be charged with this. So they literally had to let him go because of it.
Vagueness in the wording.
Yeah. Yeah. And he literally, like he basically said on during that deposition in the civil suit and everything, that yes, he did drug her and yes, did sexually assault her.
Yeah.
You know, like that. And I can't remember his exact words on it, but it was like...
Yeah, the show was really worth watching. You know, if you ever knew Bill Cosby or any of that, just... It's a lot to experience, you know, especially if you are a survivor. But it was really well done, and the one gal that sort of had to be the front and center and took the brunt of everybody going, "You're a fucking liar and you just want the money," and blah 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 blah. She's like, "I'm like an Olympic athlete, and he groomed me and my family, you know." And he played the fucking long game with each one of those gals, and it was like he picked up and comer, beautiful, wonderful people that were like 15, 16, 17, and then would get them, you know, after, you know, getting the whole family to, you know, love him and care about him, and he's like, "Oh, I'll give you opportunities," and la 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 la, and really try to like kind of groom them. And have it take like a year of like coming in and out of their life and checking up on them. And then he would have them be delivered to his hotel room, and he would be like, "Here, just drink this." And everybody trusted him at that point, and then they would drink it, and the next thing you know, they're waking up and they've been assaulted and their clothes are all askew, and he's offering them a fucking muffin and a ride home.
Yeah, for sure.
And then checks in on them the next day and is like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Like, nothing ever fucking happened.
Yeah.
And the one gal actually had footage. She, like, recorded afterwards.
The audio of the phone call.
Yeah, the phone call. And wound up, it was the mom.
Yeah.
The mom had called and just been like, why did you do this to my daughter? And he basically was like, oh yeah, I really shouldn't have done that, and you know, and it's like, well, we can talk about this and we'll talk about it tomorrow or whatever, and like just kept checking back in with the family. But he totally admitted that he did it, and then was like, oh, I can help to get her into this other school, and if she needs help, and I can maybe get her on this show, and was basically like trying to make it right, as if you can ever fucking do that by taking somebody's innocence.
Yeah.
And after that, it, like, shatters your life, because it's, like, somebody that you super trust and was, like, a mentor, and, you know, your family loves them, and America loves them, and you have to stand up against that?
Yeah.
You know, for some people, it's, like, their brother, or their father, or their uncle, or somebody in their family, but, like, Bill fucking Cosby at the height of his fame?
Well, and how? How do you even start that? You go to a lawyer and say, hey, I want to sue or charge Bill Cosby.
Yeah, you go
and they
to
go, hold on, what?
You go to the hospital and
That's
you get
not even a possible thing.
Checked out and go from there, and
Yeah, you know, they're not going to take it.
The uphill fucking battle that she went through, and decades. What's the girl's name?
Andrea Constand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's doing good now. You know, and that there's, like, definitely, like, they're doing healing. Like, they got together with Gabor Mate and had, like, a healing center thing, gathering. And then they wound up, like, really kind of forming a community of the girls who are now, like, grown ladies that are, you know, processing this shit and unpacking it and learning that they aren't the only one. This gal thought she was the only one. Yeah. She had no idea that it was happening to hundreds of other girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was just fucking eating them up like candies.
Yeah, I think they're up to like 60 now, 63 who have accused him so far.
Yeah.
You know, and there's just more, literally, I think, like, week by week that are coming out and being like, well, also me.
And the lady at the end said she knows of over 100 other women that aren't willing to be public with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a shame.
Yeah.
You don't want to be known as the chick that got raped by fucking Bill Cosby. I wouldn't want that moniker. Fuck no. Yeah, nobody ever wants to admit that anything horrible has happened to them because of the shame and the stigma that society has put on us to keep quiet, or nobody will ever want you, and you're tarnished goods, and you know, don't talk about it. And, like, I love that now people are able to talk about it and process the pain and the grief and the fucking trauma and the everything else, and have a support network of other people that have been through it too, that are like, yeah, dude, this is what's helping me get through it.
Yeah.
You know, and be able to look the fucking terror in the face and be able to see it for what it is, instead of just being a drug addict or fucking pushing it all away and drinking every goddamn day, or just locking it away inside yourself. That's some dark little horrible thing that you don't, you know, it's going to fester at some point. You're going to carry that around in you like a cancer.
Well, I always think of the sort of everyday of it, the logistics of it, where, like, you know, when something bad happens to you, or you do something stupid or embarrassing, or, you know, oh, I got drunk last night and shit my pants. Oops. You know, that's big news for a while, and people are looking at you all funny and weird, and that's all they can talk about. You know, I can't imagine something like this, where even if they don't want to talk about it, even your best friends know you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do at that time or don't, and they don't want to talk about it, and just every day it'd be like it's hard to there's you know, in the background and shit. Man, that'd be so tough.
Just to process that your mentor did that to you, and be like, did this
trust? Hey.
Yeah.
You trust
then
anybody
you just
again?
never feel safe again.
For sure. Yeah, that'd be so brutal. So that's I got pissed off on Facebook commenting the other day because there was
people that were like, "Oh, it's been 30 years, let him just be," and it's like, how are these hundreds of people doing?
Well, he
ruined their lives, their families' lives, probably their children's lives.
Yeah.
And hopefully none of these people have gone on to be fucking molesters too. Because there's a percentage of people that get molested that are like, I don't know how to process this. This is normal. So now this is what I do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right?
I think, I wonder, just the actual statistics of that, I wonder if it's more younger kids that are groomed and, like, not groomed, but necessarily, like, molested by their parents and stuff and grown up as the norm. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It would be harder to stop if that's all you've ever known.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If that's what your regular, normal thing is, you think that that's just normal, and if society hasn't outright told you, you know, or the criminal system hasn't outright told you that it's not,
as like some people don't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, and then you meet their kids, and their kids are all weirded out that you make them wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, and you're like, that's how you not spread germs around.
So the Case Against Cosby is what the documentary is called. It's on CBC. Okay. I wanted to say, because there's a different one, I guess, about Cosby that's on Netflix and stuff, and it's a whole different one. Yeah. And this one's mainly, it was about the victims, and the victims really, I don't know what the word is.
Andrea, was that her name?
Not closure by any means, but
it's her, sort of her story. Yeah. More from her perspective, but it's really well done.
It was very well done, I found.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really watchable as somebody who is a survivor, and Jason's luckily never had that kind of stuff happen to him, and he found it compelling to watch. We sort of put it on to be like, oh, what's this going to be about half an hour before we were going to bed, and then we watched it and the second part, because there was 2 parts.
Yeah, we contemplated, like, watching it for the first 5 minutes, like, do we want to go to bed thinking about this? And then I remember just, like,
oh, yeah, we couldn't.
I was just on my elbow, on the table, like, oh, I can't look away from it. Yeah. And all of a sudden, and we were right into it, and yeah, it's fucked up. So that was on the comments today. That was because there's talk of him going on tour again and shit like that.
Yeah, he wants to do a fucking comedy show again.
But there's still fans out there. There's still people out there that are like, no,
if he's going to make money, it should have to go to the people that, like, as reparations. Yeah, that 100%. Should be the only way.
For sure.
But, is 100% of that should be going to that.
Yeah. Well, and now the good thing about it all is, like, that because it has happened and because it was a technicality that let him off, and everybody knows that, judges, lawyers, prosecutors, attorneys, everybody knows that.
Everybody that matters knows that.
Right, exactly. It's public, as opposed to 20 years ago.
That say he's innocent and that's why he was let out.
Exactly, yeah. For sure, yeah. So. You know, and yeah, exactly. You know, he's definitely playing the race card and stuff too, but it's...
They were like, I thought you were old and dying, and that's why they let you out and fought so hard to get you out of there. You're just playing old and sickly and dying, and now you're going on fucking tour, buddy? A comedy tour?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to tell us the Spanish fly joke again, you son of a bitch? No, I shouldn't call his mom a bitch. She's probably a lovely lady.
I don't know. There's fans out there for all that kind of shit.
Fuck you, Bill Cosby. If you're listening to this, you piece of shit. You should have all your fingers cut off for doing what you did to those gals, and your other bits, too.
Yeah, definitely other bits.
For putting all those...
And just the diabolicalness of it, and the grooming of it, and the long term of it.
His fucking entitlement.
And the making phone calls to them afterwards and shit. Oh, yeah. And, like, just... And after the deposition and everything, even. Yeah. Like, he called to, like, hey, you know, if she ever needs a hand with any of the medical bills or any of the... to get into school, he was going to send her to school and stuff like that. After he admitted to giving her fucking Quaaludes, knocking her out and assaulting her. Yeah. He still called her and talked to his mom for, like, 3 hours. Hey, how you doing? And all this shit. Like...
The offering them a muffin before you go, and more than one lady was saying, oh, yeah, he's waiting in a robe. Out in the kitchen, I had a muffin, and so they're, like, walking out the door with a fucking muffin. Yeah. He's like, you took my virginity against my fucking will, drugged me, and took it, because you fucking felt entitled to do that, and now I can never have that back. I never feel safe again, especially around any man that I look up to.
Anybody I trust. Yeah. Anybody that ever hands me a drink.
Yeah, and
or
you can't
a food
just
item.
have fun with your fun zone anymore because now it's a trauma zone.
Yeah. I seriously, like, I think in my case, I would worry about every single thing I would eat or drink from then on. Yeah. Unless I made it myself.
Yeah.
If I was at a restaurant, drive-through, I don't care if it's a random McDonald's.
Yeah, good
because
call.
that happened to me once.
You couldn't fucking eat fresh ever again.
Exactly. I'd be fucked. Well...
Chicken fingers. They'd have to drug your chicken fingers in the store. The freezer section. They're just injecting it in there somehow.
I'd make them take a bite. Before you take a bite of that chicken finger before I accept it.
They'd have to throw the roofie in your poutine.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Roofie teens.
Gravy it all up.
Yeah.
That'd work.
Still doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
They could probably just ask.
Do you want some roofie in your poutine, sir?
No. Just do you want to hook up?
Oh, I see.
Can you pretend you're asleep? Because that's my thing.
You can
role play with people.
That's what I fucking hate.
You don't need to do this. It's a power thing.
It's such an obvious power manipulation, narcissistic, psychopathic thing.
Yeah.
Because he could get all the pussy he wants. He's Bill Cosby. He could still get pussy all day if he wanted to.
Unfortunately.
Any age, anything
fucking
he wanted to.
Even
if he had to pay for it. But it's obvious he's grooming and bringing these women into his lives.
Not women, children. They're fucking little girls.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
15?
Yeah, for sure. And seeing them and their potential.
Yeah.
Like, my thought was, like, why is, like, a casting agent or somebody else not handling all? That'd be my first sort of red flag is, like, why am I going directly to Bill Cosby's house? Instead of going through like a casting agent or another thing.
Well,
but that's the way it happens, right?
He would spend a year getting to,
for sure,
getting to know you and showing up on the set of the show that you're on, or taking your family to Florida, and like he woos them for this whole time, like as a nice mentor, just doing nice stuff for you, and then fucking year and a half in, then he has you sent for, and he takes you.
And that almost is actually a good, horrible, but in his eyes or whatever, it's a really good way.
He's earned them.
Well, I was going to say that, like, it's an excellent defense because then it becomes a whole thing, well, they were there. We knew each other. I didn't rape them. Yeah. They came into my home willingly. They were there. The family was cool with me, and we'd already spent time, and that's why the fucking Quaaludes, and
And so, was he married this whole time too, or was that just on the show?
They didn't really say on there.
I didn't.
And I always thought he had his wife of like 50 years kind of deal the whole time. So we might have to dig a little deeper down the old.
Sorry to go down the Cosby road though, but fuck, that show is compelling as hell.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We will have to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode because, some people aren't going to want to hear about this. But
lots of Cosby talk.
Whew, it was a crazy show. Oh, and another show I watched is Zendaya. What's that?
Oh, Zardoz.
Zardoz?
No, yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Zardoz. So we saw a meme, and it had... what's his name?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Youngish Sean Connery on there. He's probably in his 30s or something. So the show is from 1974.
1974, yeah.
Yeah, it came out in 74. So there's lots of like and like mirror work where people, because there's like some psychic stuff going on. It's a head trip, this old movie.
I warned you, it was weird.
I watched it, and at first I was like, well, Sean Connery's in like basically this red Speedo with like suspendery bullet bandoliers on there. I was like, okay. And then like this crazy long hair in the ponytail.
And the super high boots.
Oh yeah, like way thigh high boots. They're fabulous. I was like, he comes up out of the sand. I'm like, oh my god, he'd have to spend 10 minutes on his back shaking all the sand up, like with his legs in the air, trying to get all the fucking sand out of there, and then it would be all up his underwear outfit. So it was a pretty good show, as far as I could see what they were doing. But then it got pretty trippy. 70s, a lot of psychic stuff. They all had psychic powers or whatever going on. It was messed up. Jason slept through 90% of it. I started playing a fish game partway through.
I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
It wasn't worth the red outfit.
Once I remembered most of the concept and seeing all the little vortex countries that they go to, I was sort of like, oh yeah, this.
It kind of reminded me of like the old Dune, the original Dune, when like with the the guy has to put his hand into the box. You know, they're doing the big test, and it's like all like woo, weird, scary, and intense, and they use the music to build stuff. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy like that too, but the
old 70s sound effects.
Yeah, maybe there's a book, and the book's a lot better. I'm not sure.
I don't think there's a book.
Yeah,
it was actually done by the same guy that does did Deliverance.
Okay,
and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Well, there was lots of sexual undertones, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. It was not even really undertones, just sort of almost overtones.
Blatant, yeah, he winds up like, he's like a killer rapist squad guy, and then...
Like a barbarian savage kind of...
Yeah, team of those guys, and then he gets like, they wind up going into this big head thing that's like the ruler, it's this big cement head thing that floats around in the air, and then he winds up getting like sucked into the actual vortex. And I mean, this isn't like Abraham Hicks the vortex, I don't think, but maybe. And so it's like people that are like kind of on the other side, and it's like only the pure and stuff are over there, but then they have like the crazy ones that they have segregated away, and then they have the
old ones, the senility ones.
Well, they're crazy and they're old.
Yeah.
And then, because if you're bad, then they punish you by aging you.
Right.
You know,
right.
So, but you can't die, is the thing when they're in the vortex. And they have, like, they don't breed anymore because they have, like, the proper amount of people, so they'll never, they don't need to reproduce anymore.
Oh, and then all the men's dicks can't get hard now.
Yeah,
after
because
years of not breeding.
There's no
sex
passion or anything, and then there's like the depressed people. So then there's a bunch of depressed people that are like all like
the apathetics.
The apathetics, yeah. There's like they get the other because people just kind of go crazy, and they're probably hundreds and thousands of years old or something, whatever it's supposed to be in the vortex. But then he gets in there and he's like a barbarian, and everybody has to like try to figure him out. And
he starts getting angry, and then the apathetic sort of like, what emotion, what happening? And they
he
sort
grabs
of
the one's boob, and
she sort of shakes out of it.
She doesn't fight back, so he throws her in the haystack, and he doesn't really want her anymore.
No,
and then she's kind of into it.
Yeah.
And then they have some of his sweat.
Speaking of Cosby.
And then they get all excited.
You know,
it was kind of a rapey show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
But the whole concept is like super deep
cool.
of like the savagery of man versus the eliteness of man.
Well, because there was only so many people left, and it was kind of an end of the world scenario. And then they were like, "Well, we'll just isolate ourselves over here," but then we'll never have to die, so we're perfect, and it's like utopia. And then it sort of sucks anyway.
Everybody's just sad and shitty and angry.
A lot of people
anyway.
go crazy. Yeah,
and not fucking or anything. And, so
wow.
Zardoz.
Yeah, don't watch it.
We
it's
just gave you the
1974.
The gist.
That's the It's. I mean, you could look up his outfit. That might be worth it. Or maybe you were on my Facebook and you saw the meme.
So what started it was the meme said it was set in 2023.
Oh right,
and it wasn't. It was 2293.
Yeah, it was
what it was.
Way off.
That's.
It's like all those inaccurate Back to the Future memes. They're like, this is how we'll be dressing. So we were all excited to be dressing like in our
7 years ago,
wearing our red Speedo with the bullet thingies over the sides.
I could rock that, I bet. The guns especially.
Well, you got guns galore over there.
Don't need any.
Guns galore.
Guns galore, they call me. That's my Bond name. My Bond girl name.
Instead of pussy.
So, Tangent Road. Speaking of movie clips and stuff, I got down this weird little rabbit hole, and I can't remember exactly how I got down it. But
you can suck my rabbit hole. It's a Queen song. Queen.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You can suck my rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Oh. Is that like vagina?
I'm not sure.
Or like...
You have to listen to the song.
So you can have to suck my rabbit hole. Sorry. I kind of went off there a little bit.
Yeah.
Suck, like, that's what you're saying? Suck my rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Okay. By Kaveen Herbie?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you know that, the movie Die Hard?
Yeah.
Everybody else? Die Hard?
That Christmas movie?
The Christmas movie
with
Bruce Willington?
Mr. Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
And that other guy that played Snape?
Yeah, Alan Rickman. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome, yeah. Anyways,
Die Hard.
so in Die Hard, the role was originally actually offered to Frank Sinatra.
What?
Yeah, so I was just going to let the audience let that sink in for a second.
Like, how old was...
70-year-old Frank Sinatra.
Holy shit, climbing through the fucking vents and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, were they going to have it be that action-packed, or just have him have a...
So the script was the same and everything, but...
Holy shitballs.
So, same as... Well, I was going to say same as the Cosby thing. I shouldn't say it like that, but it was a technicality.
Okay.
So I didn't know this either, that Die Hard was actually based on a book.
Oh.
And
Ew, books.
the book was called Nothing
Just
Lasts
kidding.
Forever.
Oh.
And so it was actually a sequel. So Die Hard was the book, which was a sequel of another book / movie that came out many, many, many years before. And it was called The Detective. And the detective was played by Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
And so legally, obligatorily, contractually...
They had to offer it to him first.
They had to offer him the sequel role
Imagine if
first.
he'd have taken it, Frank Sinatra.
They said, like, that's what they say about it, like,
He was kind
outward
of sickly by then,
denied it,
wasn't
and
he?
he was like, there's no way I'm going to do that, and it was sort of like, everybody knew he was going to say no, and there's no way he could do it, so, that there was no way he was going to do it, but they still had to legally offer him the role.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but Bruce Willis definitely wasn't the first pick. There was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said he turned it down because he wanted to get into comedy.
Because he wouldn't fit in the air vent?
For sure. You'd stuff him into the air ducts.
Freaking poor guy's shoulders would just be crammed on there.
And then they tried Stallone, Clint Eastwood, Mel Gibson, James Caan, Richard Gere, and a whole bunch more.
Which one's James Caan?
I'll show you a picture of James Caan. James Caan was in lots of other stuff. You'll recognize him instantly. What did we just watch him in?
I don't know. I don't remember what he looks like.
He's the old guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in...
What did we just watch him in?
He's like a supporting actor.
Oh,
in
Elf.
Everything.
He plays the dad in Elf.
Right.
Right. That's what we just watched him in. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, because Bruce Willis was doing the show Moonlighting at the time, and wasn't really able to do it, wasn't even on their list of people to go on there.
Wild.
And but Sybil Shepherd, his Moonlighting co-star,
Special lady friend?
she became pregnant, and so the show took a break from filming, freeing up Willis for the Die Hard role. Boom. John McClane, Die Hard, Bruce Willis.
Thank you, Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah, for getting pregnant.
For having your... whoever that little kid is. That's probably an adult now.
Probably at 50 now.
Probably 50 now.
I guess not. Die Hard was not long ago.
Almost.
I'm going to crack open the door.
That's a long pause you
Have a
did
Bolsky.
there. Why the long pause? Oh man, I should have had my joke book over here. I could have told some of those beauty jokes.
Oh, do you want to talk about the party at all?
Party. Got to go to a birthday party. It was super fun. Got to see some island friends that I haven't seen in a long time or haven't had a chance to socialize with. We did the comedy night for our friend Jeannie. Happy birthday, Jeannie! And we met a tortoise named Batman.
Little Batman.
He has little tiny Batman symbols on the peaks of his shell.
He's so cute. He's so fuzzy.
He really likes looking me in the eyes.
Yeah, he had big old eyes that blink, blink, blink.
He's
right in
pretty
your
small,
face.
like, still. He's only, like, what, a foot long or something?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But he likes sitting on your chest if you, like, lay back on the couch.
He liked the butt
and then
scratches.
he, like, rips all around.
Yeah. He was awesome.
Cruises around pretty fast. He just is like a dog, though. He's like, okay, I'm ready to get down. And starts wiggling around, so you, like, let him back down onto the carpet to rip around. It's pretty magical.
Yeah, it was a fun night. It was sort of like a comedy night. And so, like, everybody had to go up and do a bit of a joke thing or a stand-up kind of thing or a skit or something. And, yeah, it was fun. I've been working on some stand-up material for a while, trying to get my stand-up groove on, as they say, or get my Stella groove back kind of thing. I don't know.
Because you lost your groove?
I got nothing. I'm not funny. You know, so
Turns out.
turns out I'm not funny. No, but it was good because I needed like
Contrary to popular belief.
Oh yeah, well, that's good. I needed like an excuse,
funny.
like a kick in the butt to get out and actually try it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it went pretty good, and yours was good. I liked yours.
I just did a whole bunch of one-liner jokes mostly. Seemed good.
Do you remember him now?
A bear walks into a restaurant and the server asks, like, what would you like? And he says, I'd like to have a grilled cheese. And the server says, oh, why the paws? Or why the big paws? And he says, I don't know, I've always had them. I kind of buggered it up there.
Boom, boom. I'll add in a little.
There's a mic drop sound.
Mic drop. Yeah, she's out of here. Start the car. Take off. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all equally as cheesy. You know, told the old Bear and the Rabbit joke, of course. I think I've told that on here before, though. So, yeah, it was super fun.
Nice. Yeah, it was actually a blast.
Had my one drink and one shot, and had
Good to
soda
go.
the rest of the night and water, and it was great. It's nice to be an adult and hanging out with friends that don't give you a hard time if you're not getting super liquored up. Like
blasted.
the people that wanted to have, well, everybody had whatever they wanted to have to drink.
Yeah.
You know, it was great. It wasn't like, you know, when you're younger and people are like, everybody has to have a drink out of the bottle or whatever. And
Drink up, you pussy. What do you got in there? Oh, you got a fucking Coke in there? That's it? You're fucking...
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
No, they were very gracious guests. It was super fun.
Yeah, it was a good guest list,
Excellent.
as they say. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, lots of island folks that we hadn't
get
had a
out.
chance to hang out with since our friend's celebration of life a few years back. So it was nice to see them in different circumstances and get a chance to see what everybody's sense of humor is like.
Well, like I said, you know, he would have killed it. The celebration of life,
Oh,
Mark,
yeah.
I guess we can say
Mark
his name,
would've-
right? I mean,
Mark would have done amazing.
Yeah.
He was super funny.
yeah. So
Just
just like I
day-to-day.
said, I say him. I wanted to say it that night too.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, you know, would have done awesome at this.
Oh,
But you know, yeah,
but we all brought it.
it was actually really good. Everybody
was-
did awesome.
A few friends
Yeah.
that didn't know ahead of time that it was a comedy night, and they got up and did some impromptu stuff, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
You know, I
Long
think just
pause.
everybody felt safe. You know, I think a lot of people were super nervous because most of us have never gone up and done that. Like I do lip syncs and stuff all the time, but I'm not actually talking. But I did 4-H when I was a kid, horse 4-H, and part of being able to
right.
do your 4-H, you have to get up and do public speaking, and I
Right.
think it was like 2 to 5 minutes or something like that was what you had to do, and so we had to do that. Get up in front of basically just like a classroom. Yeah.
So
Jason?
I put my hand up, folks. So, is it like a separate thing, the public speaking part of 4-H, or if you're
No,
involved with cows
didn't-
and horses, then you
didn't
have
matter.
to take that side of it too?
Well, it's not that you
Not
have
have
to take
to,
that
but you
side of it,
get
but
to or
that
whatever.
is something. So you have like a workbook that you do. So you pick like basically they sort of assess you and see where you're at, like what level you're at, and then they'll put you in, you know, in your group, and then along with your group, usually at the beginning of the year, it usually runs along with the school year or whatever. So like in September or whatever, and then by like October, we're doing our
Okay.
public speaking stuff,
Okay.
and you do, so
Okay.
and then if you do well at that, like the top people from that go and do like they compete against the other 4-H clubs.
Right.
So not just the horse club, you compete against all like the other clubs that are in your sort of age category or group or whatever, maturity level. And then you go to like the regionals and then the provincials.
Yeah,
So-
it can be a big thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
yeah, and 90% of the time I, like, had an idea of what I was gonna do, and then the night before I would fucking cram and write it out.
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
Usually I would, like, if I had another assignment that I'd done, like, I had a school assignment that I'd done on drugs,
Ooh.
You know, and there was like basically I'd read this pamphlet in order to like finish up that.
I just did an assignment on drugs.
Nice.
I didn't mean smoking the bowl.
Not smoking weed?
No. I did some actual research, but yeah, go on.
Oh, nice.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had done this assignment for like I think grade 10 or something like that. I had to do this English assignment, and so there was like drug pamphlets like where I was sitting, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I need a topic.
Nice, yeah.
And it was like there was like inside the drug pamphlet, it was like coke, cocaine.
All the slang terms and stuff were blow
for
and
coke, yeah.
toot.
And so there was like
Bolivian
I think 12
nose gravy.
different. Nothing that exciting, but like there was like a list of about 10 of them, and then it like told you about what it was, and then there was all the different ones. And so I did this assignment on cocaine, and basically just hobbled together some information and didn't do a very good job. So then when it came time for my public speaking that year, I was like, hey, I'd already done this last year. I'd done this not book report, but like assignment for English.
Yeah.
Essay, whatever, on it. So then I broke it down again, and so my opening lines was like coke or whatever it was,
all the different types or whatever.
Things,
that's a
and
good
then
opener.
Like these are the names of stuff that can ruin your life, kill your dreams, and even yourself
and your wife
or whatever, right? It was like really fucking heavy opening statement, and then talked a little bit about where it came from and what where it gets distributed and how like the drug chain sort of thing works, and basically how it fucks up your body, and then in closing, don't fucking do drugs. So here I am smoking weed, but it's not coke.
I just think of every other like contestant is like, we went to the water slides this summer. That kind of deal.
I was with the senior
Drugs.
group, and I was like grade 11 by then. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So because usually I like plagiarized a different assignment for English that I and then would reuse that for my 4-H report. And I think the other one that I did that I really remember was about my horse. Oh, and then they make you do a impromptu. No, that's not right. What do they call those shows where you have to just
improv?
Improv. Yeah, you have to do an improv one.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, yeah. Wow. Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I guess they're grooming you. Not grooming. That's the wrong word.
Well, they're sort of like Toastmasters, right? They're helping you to become a better person,
not just a horse person or a cow person.
It's not just animal husbandry and keeping track of how much everything costs and how often you're spending time with your animal. Like we had a whole fucking workbook we had to fill out, which was awesome. But yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But. So you
plagiarizing, I think, is where we left off there.
I just plagiarized my own assignments. But
right, I guess that'd be smart.
Yeah, I just
from school.
Yeah,
same thing. Yeah,
yeah, but just like
that's just smart to do that.
Yeah, I just reuse it, and it was something that I was pretty familiar with already. And you were supposed to like learn it and be able to just like recite it.
Oh, okay.
But because I fucking cobbled it together the night before, I sort of like I got really good at like reading my cards and like looking up at people and like doing dramatic pauses and then looking down and reading some more.
It's the
and
shit
then
that matters, That's the shit that sells it.
Yeah.
Oh, improv.
That's
where we left off.
Yeah. So they would, after you were done your prepared speech, your 3 to 5 minute whatever prepared speech, everybody would read through theirs. Then they would send you out of the room, your group. So I'm like D group or whatever my group is, that whatever level we are.
And then just laugh and cut you down. Can you believe Bobby G's speech? That sucked.
Probably.
No.
So, like, and your parents and stuff could be there. We usually were just in a classroom at the high school.
Yeah.
And cause there's like, a dozen of us kids maybe. And so the youngest kids would go first, of course, because it's like after school. So then the kids could go home. And then us older kids, we had to do the improv one too. So we would go out and wait in the hall, and then one of the adjudicators, whatever, would come out into the hall and be like, okay, Oh, I guess it was in February was when they did it, because it was Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
So they came out and they were like, we want you to do a 2-minute speech on the love of your life, the first love of your life.
Oh, wow. Oh,
and I was
that
like,
kind of an improv-y kind of, oh, wow.
So you had to do a 2-minute speech about that. So then you'd sort of like have a bit of an introduction, the body of it, and then in conclusion, kind
closer.
of whatever, yeah.
Huh.
So, and
wow,
I was
that's
like,
crazy.
That's super fucking awkward,
And
right?
how
The
old are
love
you?
of
Do you
your
remember?
life. I was in grade 11, I think, that year. Grade 10
okay,
or grade 11.
Okay, that's not so,
I
that's
hadn't
oldish,
been in
I
a
guess.
relationship other than friendship
Oh,
or
yeah, that's a crazy
infatuation
question.
with other people that didn't know that I existed.
Yeah, it's a crazy question to ask kids.
But I mean, there was definitely lots of the younger kids that had boyfriends and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
still.
yeah, in my group, because I was like the oldest one in my group. So I did my pony.
Oh!
The pony that I had when I was a little kid.
Oh.
Because I could talk about a fucking pony for
sure.
weeks.
Yeah. Let alone 2 minutes.
You have to fucking start pulling out the shepherd hook to pull me off the stage. Yeah, so they're like, you have to know how long 2 minutes is, too.
Right,
so you
yeah.
have to, there's a
You
clock.
have to end at the... Yeah.
Well, you don't want to be going too much over. Or too much under,
Yeah.
right? They're like, we want it to really be... And so we were sitting out in the hallway, and we knew what it... Oh... Yeah, so we knew what it was. So you had like a couple of minutes out in the hallway to like think on your feet, jot some shit down, and then each kid would go in and do theirs. So you couldn't copy theirs because we all had the same
ideas
subject.
from it or something. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's
so,
fair.
you know, and it's only 2 minutes, right? So like the person that goes last is sort of gets the most amount of time to prepare, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy actually.
So for me to get up and do the stand-up night, and having done so many of the lip syncs here, I think I've probably done 15 at least in the 7 years we've been here.
Oh, do you think that many?
Like
probably,
not individual
between
nights,
things and stuff,
but each different.
Probably, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess,
for the amount of songs that I have on my phone.
Yeah, 5-6 years
Easily.
worth of a couple each.
Yep, 2 or 3 sometimes per.
Yeah.
Per
3
one.
or 4, a couple of years there.
Yeah, probably even
good
closer
point.
to 20.
Yeah,
so,
wow, good job.
And the community's 100% is supportive every single time.
fuck
Everybody,
yeah.
the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you fuck up. They don't know that you're fucking up,
That's
right?
the best part about
They're
it.
not your director or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so I liked 4-H for that, because as scary as it was, like I had to have a little shot of Rescue Remedy
Oh, yeah.
before
Crazy. I didn't even think they made it back then.
Yeah, Box has been around for a while.
I guess.
But I remember one year I had, not strep throat, but I had a crazy sore throat, and you can't miss your public speaking test, whatever.
Right.
You can't miss it because they only do it once in the season. So if you miss it, then you can't. Doesn't matter how well you do on your workbook, how well you do in all your practical tests with your animal and your at the end of the year. That doesn't matter because you haven't passed that segment.
Okay.
And because they don't want people...
You can't level up or whatever.
Yeah, so you'd have to redo your level the next year. You'd still be good at your practical and stuff, but you wouldn't have
Crazy.
made that component.
Right. So like a major part of it.
Yeah, it was basically like a third of your passing grade or whatever.
That's pretty cool though, that side of it, because it's guaranteed to just be getting you comfortable in public, in a community setting, and able to do that kind of thing if it happens to come up in your job, in your life,
getting up on
or
stage and doing karaoke.
Exactly.
Even that, it was like, it was just the front of a classroom, and you're just reading something.
Yeah.
But
it's that much easier though.
Yeah, for
once
sure.
you've done it once or twice, and I guess.
And then we did the vagina monologues.
Oh yeah,
and I was one of the people, and we were reading it. I mean, I think you're supposed to have it memorized, but our group, we had it so that if you wanted to read it, so that you got it right, because they needed it to be word for word,
to be dead on or whatever it was. Yeah.
I don't mind public speaking. I don't get worked up about it unless it's something that has to be on the fly. Maybe if I was hosting something and I didn't have a lot of it written down or whatever, then I might struggle. But anything that's structured, I'm pretty good, as long as I've eaten. Yeah. So I don't get all dyslexic and have trouble reading.
I've emceed, I guess, like a wedding or two, and that's one where it's definitely nice to have things prepared, just in case you end up needing to fill a lot of time, kind of deal where like.
For the races, you did the Thunder in the Valley races too.
Oh, for sure.
You hosted that.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty structured thing.
And that's, you always have...
You're sort of entertaining.
You always have something to go on. There's cars going, or there's this going. And we realized, like my dad and I, when we were doing it, we realized early that we realized after the first year...
You didn't have to fill all the space.
We don't have to talk all the time and fill the space.
It's not a radio show.
Yeah. I think we literally got told that, like, you don't have to be talking all the time. Kind of deal. And I think...
Well, you guys could barely talk after the second day.
I either went over and listened, or he went over and listened, and then I think we talked about it, and we realized, like, well, we don't have to be... It's okay to have a few minutes of nothing.
It's nice
for a while, because then you don't just get overloaded with info all the time, and then people just stop listening and caring.
Exactly. Then they're just... Everybody's talking over that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good call. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, I've never... The only time I've ever really stumbled and screwed up with public speaking was the Corrupted premiere.
Oh, yeah, you
because
were so fucking nervous and you didn't have anything written out,
I didn't take the time to write anything down. Yeah. Because, I didn't really think I would have to, because I had lots in my brain to talk about.
Yeah.
And I did, and then at the sort of last second, I got a little freaked out that, oh shit, maybe I should write some stuff down just in case. I don't want to forget anybody, that kind of deal. So I sort of, while the movie was playing... I started writing stuff down real quick, and then there was a stand-up or standing ovation, and people were like literally standing up as we were walking by, and it just sort of freaked me out more than anything. It wasn't even
part of it.
It wasn't even the oh my god part of it. It was just sort of half freaked me out more than anything.
Well, you should have had all that acid right before you did it.
It didn't help, but
just kidding.
Just kidding, Dad. And then, I got up on stage, and I was like, I had some names written down, and I was like, oh, blur, 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 this guy, blur, 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 that guy, thanks parents for doing stuff, and thanks people for things.
Yeah, yours was super short.
Oh, it was just super short, and I was just like, I just want to get the fuck out of here now after I screwed it up so bad,
Nobody knew you screwed it up, though, because you also had Johnny and Knighton up there.
And they did great. Yeah. They did really good. They already... And that was the other thing, too, is they'd already thanked, like, Drayton and the producer, or the executive producer, and a whole bunch of other people, and the cast and the crew, and, so, yeah.
Now you
and then I know I didn't screw it up that bad, because I remember one time, like, asking people to stand up, and I got the executive producer to stand up, and we all, applauded him and stuff. Yeah, but public speaking-wise, I've never really had troubles with it, but the stand-up comedy thing, that was a whole nother thing.
Well, it's more vulnerable. You're not just thanking people, because that comes from the heart.
Well, and for me, it was like... I think it's funny when I'm writing it down, but does it come off as funny? Do you think it's funny?
Are you having fun telling it?
And that's exactly right.
Because if you're not having fun, I'm not having fun.
Well, and I'm funny in a conversation back and forthing when I only have to remember what's in my head for that last 10 seconds.
Throwing that little quip in.
Yeah, not 10 minutes worth of stand-up and trying to remember all that and everything. So it was tough to just sort of get all that in your brain all at the same time. And
it sort of seems like comedians just stand up there and like let it flow, but
they've done it 1,000 times in their living room or their wherever, or their car. Yep. They've done it so many times that it comes off as smooth and easy, and that they just thought of it. That's the whole point of it, is just doing it over and over and over. That's the hard part. And that's why, like, I needed that kick in the butt to do it. So I'm really grateful that they invited us.
It was a great opportunity, let alone getting to hang out with friends.
And that's why, like, it's sort of a twofold thing. Like, it was awesome just to go and have some fun and laughs and party and laugh till my cheeks and my neck hurt.
Would have been easy to chicken out.
A piece of cake to chicken out. I could have done it any time, But that was a big kicker of not chickening out, was like, fuck it, this is going to be my deadline sort of deal, or whatever you want to say, of like, I'm going to try it, because in a place that's super supportive with friends who are already fun and hopefully already half drunk,
and
that
they're
helps.
Also getting up and doing the same thing.
Exactly. That was the biggest part of it, right? So then I sort of realized that, like,
there's a camaraderie and a team building within that.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's sort of going through the same thing.
Everybody popped their
comedy cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a blast.
And then a tortoise, that's pretty great.
Well, you can't beat playing with a tortoise. And then he showed up in my meditation. That was kind of...
That was awesome.
Awesome and freaky and weird and awesome at
like,
the same
that
time.
was the next night.
The next night.
The next night, you're having a little meditation, and so what happened?
I walked in on your meditation.
Yeah.
Sort of halfway through it, I was like, okay,
just
that
levitating.
sounds like a good idea. And it was just like... And it was so funny, because it was such a different thing that I saw in my head.
Yours is normally vortexually out in a spiral, getting bigger as it gets away from you. Yeah. And this was almost like it was coming in towards you were saying?
Well, it's sort of more like, I guess if people care to know, I don't know, I'll tell it quick. But
I think
normally,
it's super cool.
With my meditation, I sort of do like, there's like a field almost where my eyes are, like a plain like flat field sort of or something like that. Kinda? And then everything sort of lifts off and waves up from there, like a little sort of pressure wave or shock wave sort of goes up and out from there.
Yep.
And then it slowly opens up and gets bigger and bigger on the top of my head until it's like literally like wide open.
Like palm tree. You're kind of making palm tree gestures.
Sort of flaring up like
head.
a firework or something almost. Yeah, or like a sky dome opening or something like that, Like the bottom half of a jumping jack
when you're on the way back down.
Sure, yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
I'll record the motion and we'll put it on there. And so then this time it was more like an old school 70s, like honing in on something like whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
And or the iris was not closing, but it was just like waves.
Your
whoa, whoa, whoa.
field of vision is like narrowing down into a finer point as it gets further away from you.
Well, and not even my field of vision. I could see still everything, but just there was the pressure waves were sort of going inwards.
Oh, okay.
To like a small little hole pinpoint. Whoa, 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 and going in and in. And I remember in the middle of the meditation thinking like, well, that's different. Mm-hmm. That's weird. Let's follow this. And I literally like followed it inwards. And then eventually I got to the point where there was like none of the pressure waves. I was in the thing. And then all of a sudden there was like this weird little sort of, it looked like a bobblehead, but I couldn't really make out the shape. It was just sort of this weird little long snaky like bobblehead. And it sort of got a little closer and a little closer. And then next time there was like a little flash or something. And then it was like right here in my face, right up against me, and I was like, still not able to make out the face of it or what it was. It was just sort of this weird shape, and it looked like a worm, but with a little bit more bulbous head.
Yeah,
sort of, and it was definitely like facing me,
all up in your face.
And then all of a sudden,
hello,
hello, JG, and then blink. There was a little blink, and it like instantly came into focus of it was the turtle head, and it was the exact shape, and I could see the lines of Batman. Tortoise. Sorry, whoa, that was a weird one.
You're pretty excited though.
Yeah, and I could see the big eyes and everything, and then it like blink and blinked again, and
it was all of a sudden distinct blink like that's so expressive. It was just like
and sort of half slow and like
squeeze,
and it was like right here on my chest, like I was holding Batman the day before, and just. He was happy as balls, and I was happy as balls, and we were just like...
It was like he was like, hey, cool. Buddy, there you are. Yeah. Came to say hi or whatever.
Yeah, and then I think, same as any other normal meditation, you get thinking about something else, and then you got to flash back into your mantra or whatever, and it was just like, cool, thanks, buddy. And it was just a good little visitation, and it was great.
Have you ever had any people come into your meditation or anything before?
No, not like that, I don't think. Like, I see some weird things every now and then or whatever, but not like that.
Wild.
Not that I have ever remembered or documented, anyways.
And she does hypnotherapy, so I wonder if the tortoise is more open psychically. We should look stuff up for tortoises.
Well, and there's tons of folklore around turtles and tortoises, and
is there?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's Turtle Island. That's what Earth is called in some, I think, native cultures or Australian native cultures, maybe. Because that's their whole thing is that the Earth rides on the back of a giant turtle, or that the universe is a giant turtle shell or something like that. I think it's the Earth. I think it's the Earth is riding on the top of a giant turtle. And there's like, I've seen like big statues, and there's like some actual religions and stuff that even believe that. I think Shintoism in like Japan, they have like a turtle god and stuff too. Yeah.
Wild.
I know. Maybe a tortoise god, I'm not sure.
Pretty excited.
Anyway, Batman.
That'd be cool. Like, cause I've heard that birds can be like have psychic connections and stuff. But you guys should let us know. Do you guys ever meditate? And if you do you ever have like tortoises visit you or any other like cool stuff happen in your meditations that you want to talk about or can share? Yeah, you can send us a message or
hit us up.
Hit us up on Instagram
at We Can't Pick.
Or on Facebook.
At We Can't Pick. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
same program.
Same one.
You know, for sure.
Is
you
there,
can always
is
find
there
us.
an apostrophe in there when you type it all in? Or no?
No.
No apostrophe.
No apostrophe. And I think even if you did an apostrophe, it would still come up
probably
anyway.
just still find you.
Yeah. Basically, I get to WeCa, and then it comes up.
Yay!
WECA. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, this has kind of wound up being a longer one,
Yeah,
so we
for
should
sure.
probably let you guys go. I was super excited to hear about the tortoise.
It was all the sugar. We got jacked up on the sugar right away and raised the old blood sugar.
1, 2, 3, 4. Holy shit, you
I had
guys!
one.
I had 5 candies.
I had one, but I
6.
also had Coca-Cola.
I had 6 candies. I see 6 wrappers here.
Oh, there you go. All right. Maybe one from last night.
But
we found the info card,
already.
so it was all worth it. Digging deep. Sometimes you got to dig deep.
Up.
Dig deep podcast.
Digging it deep, but not your boogers, unless you got the wood stove and it's itchy way up there.
Oh, we got to stoke the wood stove.
We got
All right.
Okay, guys.
On that note,
proud of you. Thanks for joining us. It's like super fun.
Thanks for
hanging out,
checking in, and good job making it through another week. You guys did awesome.
Yeah. Hope, Happy New Year, I guess.
Oh yeah, shit, 2023. We might have to do a quickie on New Year stuff, maybe. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, do we do resolutions?
I think it's already past New Year's.
Oh right, we're screwed then.
That's okay. We can still talk about it. It's like January is the whole slow beginning
it's the
to
new
the year.
part of the new year.
Would you believe?
Would you believe
Can
they
you
put a man on the
believe
moon?
They put a
Man on
tortoise
the
in his
moon.
meditation. They did it.
Yeah, all right. Love you all very much.
Okay, keep her tight, you guys.
Keep her real, keep her tight.
Love
keep
you.
her
Thanks
real
for joining
tight.
us. Tell your friends. Don't tell any dicks, though.
No. You're responsible for that. Not us.
We'll just send you their shitty
Yeah, we'll
messages,
send you the bill.
and you can.
Just pass them back to you.
Yeah, we'll just forward it. We'll forward
great.
it. There you go.
No referral fees.
All right, guys, take her easy. I hope you're all doing good, and thanks again for joining us.
Love y'all.
Wrapping it up in a nice little bow. I really hope you liked all of our stories. We don't really have an outro yet. We hope we didn't cause too many bories. That's when you get bored and you're like, fuck this, and you space out and you look over there. You don't want to quit listening 'cause you love us and you're putting up with our shenanigans.